My different father and different mother sister, Willow, actually covets my inheritance. We're both heirs to a wealthy family. She's a gold digger, I'm a lecher, to fight over the estate. We used countless dirty tricks against each other. She's beautiful, but truly stupid, so she kept losing again and again. Finally, on the eve of my taking over the company, she panicked. She and her clique of dumb bombshell besties came up with one last move, a honey trap. Chapter 01. When Willow and her girlfriends were plotting to seduce me, I was sitting in the private room right next to them, drinking tea. Their every move was streamed to me in high definition through surveillance. The tea was crystal clear, steam curling upward, top-grade Xinjiang Maojian. I had no mood to drink, though. I was far more interested in listening to Willow dissect me. She said, I've watched him for more than 10 years. Don't be fooled by how gentle and refined George looks. He's insanely controlling. He likes the obedient ones who listen to him and can satisfy his twisted kinks. Willow's pretty face always carries a whiff of stupidity. She spoke with absolute conviction, full of confidence. Birds of a feather flock together. Most of her besties are the same type. Great looks, low IQ, commonly known as dumb beauties. Willow is already easy on the eyes, but the woman sitting opposite her had a face even more stunning, soul-snatching. I'd seen her once, at the welcome back banquet on my first return to the country. She's the Su family's daughter, named Anna. The Su family's status is low. She didn't have the right to speak to me, but my assistant found out she and Willow are quite close, and her looks are exceptionally outstanding, so I remembered her. Willow whispered, I suspect he has a bit of a sadistic streak. Anna, you might have to put up with things like calling him master, for example. Anna's expression barely changed from start to finish. She nodded slightly, looking as if she were listening carefully. She even started taking notes. In stark contrast was the tea house manager at my side. When he heard that, he finally grew restless. He glanced at my face cautiously, bending at a full 90 degrees. President Wang, the kitchen has prepared the pastries for you. I'll bring them right away. Save me was written on the left side of his face. Don't want to listen on the right. And his eyes screamed, you're not going to silence me, right? Honestly, those few words don't count as some great aristocratic secret. I don't mind others hearing them. Willow's suggestion is actually quite practical. We grew up together. After all, she knows me well, but I don't like forcing people. So I nodded and said gently, pack it up. I'll take it with me. Thanks for the trouble. There was no need to keep listening. Since childhood, she's never had anything that could threaten me in the slightest. Willow is still the same, not worth fearing. So dumb it's almost endearing. Chapter 02. The boxed pastries ended up on my family's dining table. My mom loves sweets. She ate several pieces and wouldn't stop praising them. Willow got home just a step after me and, urged on by my mom, ate one too. Although our relationship is terrible, there's one thing we tacitly agree on. No matter what, if there are people at home, we act harmonious. Like now, she asked brightly, where did you buy these? They taste great. I looked at her pleasantly and smiled. If you like them, sister, I'll buy more for you next time. We were friendly and affectionate, like a pair of real siblings. My mom patted my shoulder with a cheerful smile. All right, I know you two get along. Go rest early. Tomorrow we'll go cut the ribbon together. A new resort our family opened was having its grand opening. All four of us had to attend the ribbon cutting. We responded dutifully, but the moment my mom left, our expressions faded in unison. Willow gave a little scoff, rolled her eyes, and said, I don't usually hear you call me sister. I smiled, unconcerned. Vice President, you must be joking. At the company we keep things strictly professional. Of course, my parents haven't retired, and I've been the legitimate heir since childhood. Employees and outsiders are used to calling me President Wang. Willow's rank is below mine. She's a deputy, so I'm happy to needle her with that title. Sure enough, Willow's face flushed red with anger. She regulated her breathing, curled her lips, and said, you can't handle all those women, yet you still have to keep it professional with me at work. Willow has introduced me to plenty of girls. Whatever their personalities, their looks were top tier. They're skilled at every kind of eating, drinking, and having fun, clinging to me every day, trying to make me lose interest in business. Her ulterior motives are obvious. Honestly, I'm not very interested. First, I prefer making money. Second, Willow herself is very pretty. I've seen exceptional faces since I was a kid, and I'm immune to them by now. Still, when I'm bored, I'll indulge Willow and hang out with them a bit. Like tonight, if I hadn't gotten word in advance and gone to eavesdrop on Willow's plotting, I should have been on a date somewhere with the 36D top-tier model she set me up with. Just to unwind, I asked. Is that so? I stood up, walked toward her, and leaned down slightly. The distance shrank to nothing. I could feel her breath. Willow backed up step by step until she couldn't retreat anymore. Pressed against the wall, her clear eyes widened, like a cat with its fur standing on end. A very pretty ragdoll cat. I was bored out of my mind inside, but my voice stayed gentle and soft. I smiled. Willow, the thing is, I think none of them are as much fun as you. She looked up at me. For an instant her face went blank. I moved even closer to her ear. You're much better looking than your besties. If you personally invited me, it might actually work. My breath scorched her earlobe. She jolted. Bang. Willow's pupils dilated. Her lips trembled, and the porcelain cup in her hand fell and shattered on impact. That tea set was pretty expensive. I glanced at the shards on the floor with a hint of regret, took 2 steps back, and said helplessly, just kidding, a mess. Willow, you didn't take that seriously, did you? Back at a safe distance, I turned to leave. I'd walked several steps before I heard her come back to her senses. Furious, she snapped, George, I'm your sister. How can you do that? Chapter 03. Willow is my sister, but we share no blood. She was a baby, barely a month or 2 old, when my uncle suddenly brought her home from outside. He was already married then, so the whole thing was absurd and shocked the entire family. Even when my aunt threatened divorce, my uncle refused to reveal who the child was. Grandpa finally sent someone to investigate and discovered Willow was my uncle's first love's posthumous daughter. My uncle and that first love were 2 first-rate hopeless romantics, the kind who lose their heads over love. They split only because my uncle went abroad, and the breakup was a whole life-or-death melodrama. Later they finally cut contact, and Grandpa even breathed a sigh of relief. Who knew the first love fell ill, had nowhere to turn, and came to my uncle to entrust him with the child, and my uncle, stubborn to the end, actually brought the now orphaned Willow back. For my aunt, the truth was a bolt from the blue. She even resembled that first love a little. Better not dwell on that. Thinking about it is sheer humiliation. They divorced afterward, and my uncle died of depression in less than a year. Willow became a hot potato. It would have been easier if she were truly my uncle's child, but she wasn't related to him at all. Grandpa didn't want to take care of her. My aunt had long since gone abroad and remarried, and my dad stayed silent at first. Willow nearly ended up in an orphanage. My mom was the one who brought her home. After all, my uncle might have been a fool, but he treated family with nothing but kindness, and the child was innocent. My mom was already pregnant then. Her maternal instinct kicking in, she just couldn't watch it happen. She told my dad, just treat it as finding George a companion. Of course, this wasn't trouble-free for us, because Willow's identity was hard to explain, and to keep her from living under strange looks. Our family always said she was an adopted child. My parents treated Willow as their own daughter. To protect my uncle's reputation, they didn't even tell me. I dug it up myself, but rumors always swirl. For example, that Willow was actually my dad's illegitimate daughter. And, just like her love-addled mother, Willow doesn't have the sharpest brain. She believed it. Then she decided to fight me for the inheritance. As kids, it was with tasty treats and fun toys. Grown up, it was getting others to dangle tasty treats and fun toys. In short, she wanted me to slack off, drown in indulgence, and turn into a spoiled second-gen rich kid. Too bad, Willow never succeeded once. She bought me computers and consoles so I could game. I gladly accepted. She hired people to do my homework. I gladly accepted. She dragged me on trips during vacations. I still gladly accepted. Yet I still took first place every time. And she, exhausted to death, dropped 11 places in rank. Willow, in a fit of anger, managed to be angry for exactly 1 moment. All in all, her tactics never evolved. It was always about finding people to corrupt my mind, make me addicted to pleasure, and neglect work. This time she finally made progress, a honey trap. Looks like she's realized good looks are the only advantage her besties have, and I am, admittedly, a sucker for pretty things and pretty people. Willow figured that out. Her besties are each prettier than the last. Take Anna, for instance. Chapter 04. Anna has a soul-snatching face, striking, otherworldly features, the outer corners of her eyes tilting slightly downward, carrying a chill, world-weary disdain. Just sitting quietly by the roadside, she could make an ordinary street look like a movie set. A breeze lifted the wisps of hair by her ear. Everything was as lovely as a painting. If beauty could be exchanged for money, she'd be rich enough to rival a nation. I'd only seen her twice. From the first meeting, I knew she was a trap. I've had an extraordinary memory since childhood, photographic, and I know every family in our circle inside out. Anna is the Sue family's daughter, but the Sue family has declined, and she's just an illegitimate child. So the Sue family acknowledged her merely to trade her innate beauty for other resources. I'd heard her name from plenty of young masters of old houses. They said that despite her embarrassing status, she had a cool, aloof air that kept people 1,000 miles away, like an unattainable ice queen. The so-called flower on a high ridge. They fell for her. Even if they couldn't have her, they were willing to help her more or less. Anna refused them all. I neither affirmed nor denied. I didn't comment much. Maybe that unattainable act was just holding out for the highest bidder. I didn't know her, so I couldn't judge, but given the Wang family's status, someone like her, if not for Willow's invitation, would never have gotten into a banquet where I was the main character. Willow's tricks are always so adorably blunt, no novelty whatsoever. Still, when Willow delivers a gift to my door, out of courtesy and acknowledgement of her taste, I sometimes accept it. Like this time, our third meeting, I told the driver to stop the car. This road is the only way to the resort, and I'd heard with my own ears the plan Anna and Willow made to stage a chance encounter, but I don't like embarrassing people. Even if I knew full well it was a clumsy setup long in the making, I wouldn't expose it. I rolled down the window and said gently, "Ms. Sue, what a coincidence. What are you doing here?" The next second, Anna Sue shook her head. "Not a coincidence." Her answer caught me off guard. She lifted her gaze slightly. From this angle her eyes were limpid, her features impossibly exquisite, because she was looking up. There was even a fragile vulnerability that made one want to protect her. Anna pressed her lips lightly together, a mist in her eyes. "Willow told me to wait for you here." Her voice was lovely too, light and cool, like shards of ice on a lake's surface. I was a little surprised. She said, "She wants me to get close to you." She paused, then continued, "I'm sorry, President Wang. I wanted a chance to see you again, so I didn't refuse." This time I was genuinely dumbfounded. Willow got stabbed in the back by her own bestie. If she knew Anna defected the instant she saw me, would she cry from anger? Thinking of the expressions that might flit across Willow's face, bewilderment, confusion, anger, grievance, meltdown, those beautiful eyes of hers might even brim with shimmering tears. In a very good mood, I looked down at Anna and asked gently, "What do you want?" She was honest and smart. If she was holding out for a buyer and that buyer was me, I was willing to hear her price. Anna went silent for a few seconds, then said softly, "I want to follow you." At that moment, an ill-timed joke popped into my head. In our circle, we don't have girlfriends, we only have followers. Chapter 05. When we entered the resort, Willow happened to arrive too. Her gaze swept over Anna and me. The corner of her mouth clearly lifted a little. She even gave Anna an unmistakable wink. Anna was speechless. I was speechless. I pretended not to see it, and of course didn't notice the smug delight at the edges of her eyes. Willow asked, feigning casualness, "Is this your friend? She looks unfamiliar." I replied, "No." With a half-smile I added, "She's my date." Willow's smile froze on her lips. Everyone knows the Wang siblings never bring dates to any event. Willow once needled me with that passive-aggressive tone. "Admit it. You're just a misogynist who looks down on women. You think women are trouble. You think no woman deserves to stand by your side." Back then I unhurriedly countered, "Then why don't you let anyone accompany you? Is it that you don't want to? Or, Willow, are you waiting for me to invite you?" Willow's face flushed crimson. She ground her teeth and told me not to talk nonsense. At the end she emphasized again that we're brother and sister. She said that line at least 1,000 times, but in reality, she's always mocking me as the family's golden boy, hardly acting like a proper elder sister at all. She's dumb and wooden. When she does something shady she gets guilty, and I often make her jump with anger. But now, I openly stated I had a date. That date was her friend, and this was exactly what she'd been hoping for, yet she suddenly couldn't find her voice. After a long moment, Willow just let out an "oh," and turned to leave. It was, after all, a ribbon cutting. Willow wore a custom off-shoulder gown with perfect tailoring, showing off her alluring shoulders, slim waist, and sensual curves. She was also decked out in various expensive accessories, looking a bit more aristocratic than usual. I admired the view for several seconds before pulling my gaze back. Chapter 06. In the banquet hall, I asked Anna beside me, "What are you thinking about?" Anna had been deep in thought since a moment ago. She looked normal enough, but her gaze was unfocused. She paused for a moment, then told me honestly, "President Wang, I'm thinking that your relationship with Willow doesn't seem to be what people say." Her tone was gentle, her voice calm and soothing. I suddenly reached out and took her wrist. Her blood sped up. Her heartbeat was faster than normal. She was nervous, because of her own answer. She was afraid I'd get angry, afraid I'd be disgusted with her and throw her out on the spot. I curled my lips in a smile. "I thought my reputation was decent enough that you wouldn't have to walk on thin ice like this." Anna looked at me and said cautiously, "I really don't know what to do to make you like me, whether I should play along with the scheme or act cutesy and vulnerable, so I can only choose to tell the truth." I didn't need to know why she wanted my favor. Too many beautiful women take the initiative to cozy up to me. I don't have time to dig into every motive. The smile at the corner of my mouth didn't change at all as I asked, "You got close to Willow in order to get close to me?" She nodded. "Yes," I said. "I see," I sighed. "If Willow hears that, her heart will shatter again." Unmoved, she shook her head. "I won't hurt her on purpose." I asked, "What if it's my order?" My tone was mild. You should know, switching sides requires a proof of loyalty token. Anna's eyes suddenly grew complicated. She probably wasn't even sure of her own answer to that question. She hesitated, but in the end she still said, "You wouldn't." Up to now, her answers had all been interesting, enough to make a person want to keep talking. But I was still curious, so I asked, "Why not?" She said, "Because Willow can't threaten you, and you probably already knew about our plan." Anna gazed at me, those clear eyes bright as stars. She said, "President Wang disdains to strike at people who can't threaten him." I looked at her quietly for a few seconds too. Then, with a smile in my voice, I changed the question. "Aren't you afraid we actually have a deep sibling bond, and I'll be angry at you for betraying her?" The stunning girl hesitated again for a few seconds. "I don't know." Another unexpected answer. I laughed. "I thought you'd say, there's no such thing as a deep sibling bond." Willow and George being all smiles on the surface but at odds inside is practically an open secret. Only our family still thinks it's outsiders who don't know the truth and are sowing discord. Anna seemed to hit a problem she couldn't solve. Her brows knit slightly. At last she shook her head lightly. "President Wang, I don't know." She didn't know. So she was gambling. It's not like I've never had people defect to me before. Most of Willow's besties that she sent were as pretty, and as stupid, as she is, with no talents beyond playing around. But a small number, after following me for a while, would voluntarily tattle to me and even volunteer to be double agents. One even told me she could ruin Willow, said her brother owned a bar stocked with all sorts of good stuff they could use on Willow, that she could make Willow fall completely. I just smiled back then. The next day, a huge stash of illegal contraband was found at her place. The case moved fast. She was sentenced to death. When Willow heard, she panicked and ran to me. For a second, her anxious expression almost dazed me, as if she really cared about me. She huffed, "Can you stop seeing those shady women? They only come near you for your money, don't get fooled." I looked at her and reminded her with a smile. "Wasn't she the one you introduced me to?" She bit her lip. I didn't know she was like that. This time, instead of looking like a cat whose tail got stepped on, she sincerely apologized. "I'm sorry, George. It won't happen again." That might have been the first, and only, time Willow ever apologized to me. Sometimes I think Willow is a bundle of contradictions, but so am I. I can bully her without restraint, but I absolutely won't let anyone else try to ruin her. Besides, Anna was right. Willow can't threaten me, I said. "You won the bet." I looked at Anna. "Until I take over the Wang Corporation, you can be my date. Old Master Su will understand what I mean. From now on, the Su family will have to watch your face when they speak," I went on. "And about your mother, the one they've locked up," I thought for a moment. "I'll send someone to get her out." Her expression shifted slightly, like green water rippled by a breeze, or a cold sheet of ice suddenly scoring a crack. She frowned. "You knew," I answered. "Of course I knew. Beauty is a resource, and a passport." From the moment Anna displayed that stunning capital, she was destined to lose her freedom. The mother trapped in a cage is the tie she can't cut. She wants to use my status to escape the Su family's control. Plenty of people offered to help her, some even sincerely, but none of them could. Young Master Chan couldn't. Young Master Ito couldn't. Young Master Kim couldn't. President Ku couldn't. Only President Wang could. Because I'm the Wang heir, so I can. Light from the banquet hall fell on the wine glass in my hand, refracting into a kaleidoscope. She looked at me. When she lifted her eyes, the faint melancholy in her cheeks was almost heartbreaking. "But President Wang, I don't have enough chips. I only have myself. Is that enough?" Anna understands her advantage, and she uses it flawlessly. Saving a fallen woman from the demimonde is such a romantic tale, especially when the protagonist is this breathtakingly beautiful. I said carelessly, "That's enough. She's pretty enough, smart and interesting, and she's a gift Willow delivered to me. Just looking at her is pleasant." As the waiter poured my wine, a gaze behind me felt hot enough to burn through. Frankly, ever since Anna and I walked in, the whole room had been watching us, but people know their limits and their manners. This person was different. Her eyes hardly left me. I turned, and, sure enough, met Willow's gaze. I smiled and raised my glass to her. She shifted her eyes away, awkwardly. Chapter 07. Anna has become my exclusive companion. My parents have heard about it. They never interfere in my or Willow's love life, but they'll ask out of curiosity now and then. Like at this family dinner, my dad asked if I was seeing someone and when I'd bring her home to meet them. My mom said, "I saw the photo. That kid really is good looking." Unfortunately, Anna and I can't really be called a couple. I'm busy with work every day. I only see Anna briefly when I attend events. Still, she's considerate. She reports her schedule to me every day, rain or shine, whether I reply or not. And she's pretty. She shows up right when I need a break, researches good food, hunts down fun things to do, ready anytime to help me relax, and she's pretty. She's smart. When my assistant took leave before, she volunteered to handle some trivial, inconsequential tasks for me, did them all well, and she's pretty. Anna is gentle, attentive, and eloquent. She never throws little tantrums, and she's pretty. But our relationship is delicate, not equal, so it doesn't count as love. I picked up a napkin to wipe the corner of my mouth, about to deny it, when I suddenly saw Willow sitting across from me. She was staring at me in a daze, quieter than usual. Willow is actually the least rich girl I've ever met. We got along fairly well when we were kids. So later, when she distanced herself in a roundabout way, having a best friend take her place when we went out, under the pretense of introducing me to girls, I couldn't understand it at the time. I asked her why. That was the first time I'd asked anyone why, after becoming an adult. I feel there's no need to chase reasons. If you make a choice, you should pay the price. After a long pause, Willow said she was materialistic, that she liked money, a gold digger. What an absurd answer. I asked whether the Wong family had ever been short of money for her. Willow lowered her eyes and didn't look at me. After a while she said, "I'm the older sister. I have the right to fight for it." I finally understood she believed those half-true rumors. Speechless, I said, "You don't seriously think you're an illegitimate child, do you?" She repeated, "Anyway, I'm going to fight for it." We parted on bad terms, but I never saw where she supposedly loved money. Back in school she liked wearing the simplest white dresses. When she occasionally had to attend events, she'd complain to me that those gowns were too tight and scratched her skin. At that time we commuted to and from school together. The tall, slender girl had bright, slightly upturned eyes, delicate, well-defined features, and when she smiled she was dazzling. My deskmate asked me, "George, is that your real sister? You two don't really look alike." I asked him how we didn't look alike. He thought for a moment and said, "How to put it? George, you look like a trust fund kid at a glance, but she's more approachable, like that kind of campus beauty from a modest background." The phrase, campus beauty from a modest background, hit my funny bone, and I couldn't help laughing. Willow dressed plainly and didn't wear earrings. She was clean and neat all over. She didn't have much material desire. Clothes, bags, jewelry, none of it interested her. The most expensive thing on her might well have been her face. So where did all the pocket money the family gave her go? Did she stash it away like a miser? My distraction lasted only an instant. The Willow in my memories gradually overlapped with the person in front of me. The bright smile between her brows turned gloomy. I changed my tune. "Then I'll ask Anna to come over for dinner tonight." Her chopsticks trembled. Dad nodded, concise as ever. "Anna, right. What does she like to eat? Let the housekeeper prepare in advance." Mom turned to Willow. "Willow, you're free tonight too, right? Eat at home." She pressed her lips together. Today, she seemed to want to refuse, but I cut her off. "She's off today," I said with a smile. I asked the assistant. "She doesn't have any personal plans either." Willow fell silent. Chapter 08. Anna had clearly put on her makeup with great care today. Her brows and eyes were like a painting, her figure graceful. Just standing there she looked like a work of art not of this mortal world, a beauty said to be able to topple a nation. My parents ate an extra half bowl of rice, sustained by that face worthy of an era. Willow, however, couldn't swallow a bite. My dad asked what was wrong. She said she was on a diet. My mom, who had been smiling at Anna, snapped back to herself, puzzled. She said, "Willow, why are you dieting? Your figure is perfect right now." Normally I'd tease along, but today I naturally picked up a piece of lamb chop, crispy outside, tender inside, and placed it on Anna's plate. "If you like this, have more." Anna tilted her head to look at me, the light falling into her eyes, rippling, as if carved and polished, awash with too many indescribable emotions, like a Berlin fog. Her pale lips pressed together to reveal a hint of blood red, the finishing touch on an exquisitely sculpted face. Her beauty had no trace of earthly smoke and fire. There was a chill like someone standing alone on a mountaintop, and a world weariness like someone lost by a moonlit lakeshore. But when she focused on someone and then smiled, well, in the words of the internet, even the coldest man couldn't help but stir. Under the table, Anna lightly scratched my palm with her finger. I turned my head and smiled at her but didn't respond. Over the years, people like this have been as common as carp crossing a river. Sometimes even on the street, a young, pretty girl would accidentally fall right in front of me. So I knew perfectly well, she was seducing me. From the first day she smoothly became my companion. She was like some greedy shellfish, prying open a hard shell bit by bit, revealing a lustrous pearl nourished by pain. Anna was certainly not some pitiful little thing waiting for salvation. Nor did she approach me merely to escape the Sioux family's control. That was a performance for my benefit. The desire in her eyes was no longer hidden as cautiously as the first time we met. Her intentions were almost laid bare, the dagger practically out after the map ran out. She wants freedom. She wants money. She wants people to stop looking at her with that mix of contempt and covetousness. She wants no one to be able to control or command her life. All these years of keeping others 1,000 miles away were because she wanted to sell herself at a good price. I am the buyer she chose. I'm sure she studied information about me hundreds of times so that every move would suit my taste, her clothes and styling catered to what I like. Every sentence inviting me to continue. People climb upward. I don't think that's any kind of sin. Rescuing a courtesan is, of course, entertaining. But a beautiful woman taking the initiative to seduce me is even more entertaining. I appreciate this desire wriggling up from the muck, dirty yet real, still borrowing the moonlight to package itself as untouched by dust. She wants. She begs. She grows into the shape I desire right up to my window. Yet they say she is not to be plucked. A smile spread to my brows and eyes. I caught her hand, stopping her motion, and said gently, "Don't fool around. We're at home." Anna obediently listened. Suddenly she mouthed 2 silent words to me. I saw them, and perhaps Willow did too, because she suddenly stood up, said, "I'm finished," and went upstairs without a sound. My dad shot her a puzzled glance. My mom mused, "She's grown up. She has things on her mind, 20-something. And you call that a child?" I didn't even lift my eyes, just picked up another chopstickful of her favorite dish for Anna. I own a few residences outside, but most of the time I prefer staying at home. Willow is the same. She comes home almost every night, and if she doesn't, she'll say so in the family chat. I won't be back tonight. I told my parents, tomorrow I'll take you to the airport. They've looked forward to retirement life for a long time. Now they've basically handed all their power over to me. Tomorrow they're flying straight to Iceland for vacation. My mom said, "It's fine. Your sister already said she'd take us." Smiling, she waved a hand. "You just focus on your relationship. It's rare you get a break. Spend more time with Miss Sue." "Okay," I said. "Have fun. Let Chris take lots of photos." As we walked out of the house, Anna suddenly took my hand. "President Wong," she asked, "can I be in a relationship with you that we can pretend is real?" Her voice was like ice shattering on a lake, cool and limpid. Smiling, I shot back, "What do you think?" Anna is truly smart. She put everything she learned from Willow into practice. For example, right now she was kneeling in front of me, lightly biting her lower lip, eyes sultry as silk, calling me master, perfectly matching the silent mouth shape from moments ago. I was thoroughly pleased, but the gaze at my back was like thorns. I turned my head and saw a slender figure at the floor-to-ceiling window on the second floor. She took one step back, and I could no longer make out the figure against the curtain. Chapter 09. Chat log. Willow, Anna. Are things going smoothly between you two? Anna, yep. Everything's going smoothly so far. Willow, Anna, do you want me to do something? Willow, you're staying with him tonight, right? Anna, I'm kindly reminding you, don't get any ideas you shouldn't have. Anna, I meant work matters. Willow, did you hear what I said? Don't think about trapping him with a baby to climb up. Anna, Willow, Anna, why are you still replying? Isn't he next to you, or are you not in the same room? Anna, I'm taking a shower. Willow is speechless. Willow, what do you mean? Why are you showering at midnight? How far have you two gone? Anna, didn't you want me to seduce him so you could inherit the family estate? Willow, so what? No, Anna, I feel guilty. I only thought you'd just get in touch with him. I didn't expect you to sell your body. Willow, how about this? This must be painful for you too. Let's not keep making mistakes. Leave now. I'll clean things up and make sure he doesn't give you trouble. Willow, come out quickly. I'm waiting at the door. Anna, where are you? Willow sent a location pin. Anna, why are you already outside? Willow, just get out here. Anna, we're not in that house/apartment. Next message, out of the bathroom. Willow sent, ! Willow, which house are you in? Make it clear. When I was looking at this chat log, Anna was nestled in my arms. I stroked her smooth skin, my hand sliding over her soft belly. Her eyes were closed, tame and obedient like the white cat I had as a child. I hadn't asked for anything. She handed me her phone on her own, but that was a conversation from midnight. It was now 10 in the morning. Sunlight filtered through the curtains. Curious, I asked, did you do it on purpose? She opened her eyes, paused imperceptibly, and said, yes. My tone gave away no emotion. Why? She said, I showed you because I figured you'd want to know. Anna's voice was frank. And I only showed you today because I had my own agenda. I didn't ask anything else. She didn't say anything more either, just put on her clothes, carefully smoothing every crease in her dress. Before leaving, she said, President Wong. I turned back. She said, after you leave, do I still belong to you? Anna spoke very, very slowly. I gazed quietly at her, almost glowing in the daylight. Language is an art. For example, she indirectly said she believes I care about Willow. She hinted that Willow's existence threatens her. She knows I like honest women. But she's also afraid I'll dislike this perceptive cleverness in judging people. Willow was right. I have a crazed need to control and possess. I like beautiful creatures existing for me. She's mastered little tricks like this to perfection. Of course, I said, gently. The password is your birthday. Come stay whenever you want. I'll come see you whenever I'm free. Her eyes curved as she smiled. Okay. Her smile was like a sudden crack in a glacier, spring bursting forth, riotous with life. Chapter 10. I went back to the company. Even though today was my day off, my parents handed over a lot of work before they left, and I had to look it over myself. By the time I got home, it was already late at night. Willow's and my rooms were originally both on the second floor, but back when we were in school, she suddenly said the view on the third floor was better and moved alone into the guest room up there. Sometimes I think her acting is really clumsy. For example, during that conversation that was basically our rupture, the pain she tried to hide in those eyes that seemed to burn with resentment still spread out easily. Exactly like now. We suddenly locked eyes at the stair landing. Why did you come back? After a long moment, she spoke first, unclear who she was explaining to. I was thirsty. Came down for a drink. There's a mini fridge in her room, and when I drove in, I clearly saw someone standing on the third floor balcony. Willow, you saw I was back and couldn't wait to come down to greet me. I looked at her and drawled. So you were that eager to see me. Her expression was as dramatic as an overturned paint palette. She bit her lip hard and couldn't get a word out. I climbed the stairs one step at a time, watching her fingers gripping the railing go white. If I were her, I'd say, don't flatter yourself, but Willow can't even curse. Every time she's mad enough to jump up and down, she just ends up with reddened eyes, saying harmless nonsense, no bite at all. There was no one else at home. My parents had given the household staff time off. Her feet seemed rooted to the floor. She didn't move for a long while, probably waiting for me to brush past her, but I stopped one step in front of her and didn't move. I looked at her from below, my gaze landing on the faint mole between her collarbones. I'd noticed that mole back when we were studying. She'd be doing homework across from me, long lashes lowered, completely unaware that I was staring at her neck thinking who knows what. I reached out, touched that mole. My fingertip even lingered there, stroking it, a little too familiar. Willow's expression shattered. She slapped my hand away in panic, her voice trembling. George, I'm your sister. There it was again, that line, heavy with admonition. But who exactly she was reminding, only she knew. In the past I would step back, delighting in watching her flustered, ashamed, and furious, jumping up and down, but not today. I smiled. Sister, I thought you wanted me to kiss you. Her face went blank, her body started to tremble. My fingertip slid upward, caressing her cheek, finally resting on her soft lips. She has a full, rounded Cupid's bow. Her lips are rosy, the corners naturally upturned. They look very kissable. I've seen her in countless states: joy, sorrow, anger, feigned anger, shock, panic, fear, even self-loathing. There's only one expression I've never seen. On a guessed right. I care about Willow. It's just that I was born cold and unfeeling. When I thought she was my sister, maybe I cared quite a bit. After I found out she wasn't, that care dwindled to a sliver. That sliver lets me stand aside, as she wished, keeping a not too far, not too close distance. That sliver, however, also makes me feel a flicker of irritation and pity when I learn she might have been wandering somewhere unknown all night, waiting. George. She looked like she was about to cry. Those usually lively, clear eyes were shimmering with tears. Rarely, she showed weakness to me, whispering, don't treat me like this. Chapter 11. Don't do this to me. I can't refuse you. Don't do this to me. I have to refuse you. Don't do this to me. She was begging me. I don't like forcing people, but when I walked closer and saw Willow lower her head, cheeks flushed, I had to admit I was addicted to that feeling. It gave me joy and an unexpected sense of satisfaction. I smiled. What does it matter? I touched her eyes, leaned in, lowered my voice and said, enunciating each word, no one is home. No one will see. No one will find out. As the words fell, I clearly saw something in her eyes shatter. Waves surged, gathering into an indescribable storm at sea. The next second, she closed her eyes, rose on tiptoe, grabbed my hand and covered her lips with it. Then she kissed me through that hand. I've seen her in thousands of forms. Only one I had never seen, her lost in desire. Willow is, of course, very popular. With such a pretty face and that bold, radiant aura, there are countless boys chasing her, but she has never had a boyfriend. There isn't even a single man around her who's even slightly close. She didn't date when we were in school. After graduation she refused an arranged marriage. My mom even asked her anxiously, Willow, why don't you date? Don't you have someone you like? Willow pouted. I'm busy. She rolled her eyes at me laughing on the side and said, I have to work. Really? She actually wasn't that busy. Later, when we went to the company together, I joked with her. Sister, If you really want to date but don't have time, just give all the work to me. She glared at me with those bright eyes, snorted, and said, in your dreams. She seemed angry. I thought she was mad because she felt I was trying to drive her out of the company. Later I learned she was angry because I had no reaction at all to her wanting to date. Back then I dissected her psychology coldly, looking at Willow with suspicion. I never treated her as an enemy, but I knew that if she wanted to steal my power, I'd show no mercy, even if she seemed harmless, even if she said she had the right to fight yet truly did nothing. Willow simply stopped standing by my side and instead introduced one best girlfriend after another to me. I've never been fervent about romance. Ambition and desire seemed to flow naturally in my blood. So when I belatedly realized she might be hiding some strange secret, I found it absurd. My sister, she's like those heroines in cheap romance novels, pure as jasmine. I tested her again and again, convinced she was pretending. But again and again, I got answers beyond my expectations. More than 20 years of pampered living didn't nourish her greed. Instead, it nourished a love she couldn't put into words. She doesn't scheme to cheat the Wang family out of its estate, nor does she dream of trampling the Wangs underfoot. She wants me to kiss her. Chapter 12. Her long hair was loose, falling over Willow's shoulders. Those beautiful, peach blossom eyes lost focus. Fine sweat beaded on her forehead and dampened her hair. I looked up, savoring her expression in that moment, and once again let the pads of my fingers rest on her trembling collarbone. She was like a gift about to be unwrapped by my own hands. But the next instant, my fingers slid down from her collarbone, treating her softness with roughness. Her breathing turned rapid. The mist in her eyes surged, about to crack open a slit of clarity. Willow, I murmured in her ear, do you not want to be my sister? Of course she doesn't. My beautiful but foolish sister. Perhaps the moment she realized her feelings had overstepped, she chose to push me away, and found a clumsy, yet sufficient, reason to make me wary. She knows me too well. She answered reflexively, I don't. Really? I feigned thinking. Then why, at a moment like that, did you call my name? She stared at me, stunned and flustered, as if stripped naked in public, though right now she was indeed almost stripped bare. I smiled wickedly. I heard you. You called George. I never go up to the third floor to look for her. That day, the power suddenly went out at home. It was hot, and I suddenly wanted one of the cold drinks in her mini fridge. Water was rushing in the room. I knocked. She didn't hear. I just opened the door. I've always been this way with Willow. I can invade her territory without scruples. Then I heard her voice. She was panting softly, calling my name. George. Sultry, yearning, husky, choked, pained, pitiful and adorable. It sounds nice, I said. Our noses touched. I lowered my voice. Call it again. Let me hear. George. For a moment, she let out a coquettish little sound. I loosened my grip on her hand slightly, kissed the small mole at her collarbone tenderly, then suddenly bit down, like a predator clamping onto its prey the moment it relaxed its guard. But she didn't show a hurt expression. She went along with everything I did, only protesting softly, as if making one last struggle. I'm your sister. I laughed. We're not related by blood, she asked. Then what are we now? I said. A sister and brother who can do whatever we want, and who have no blood relation. She pressed her lips together. Would you treat someone else like this? I never lie. So I said gently, I did this with someone else last night. No. She closed her eyes, body trembling. I mean, would you be this rough with anyone else? I admit I was pleased again. Smiling with my eyes, I said, no. In front of outsiders, I'm all grace and gentlemanly warmth. That manic possessiveness and urge to torment only ever falls on Willow. Okay. Willow seemed a bit awkward. Then that's enough. Her long lashes lowered, breathtakingly beautiful. At my leisure. Still nasty as ever, I asked. Is that so? Then what if I say I'm going to see Anna tomorrow night? Willow said. She won't find out. She looked so pitiful. Willow, I sighed. You're a bit love-addled, blinded by romance if you can even accept having an affair. She didn't refute, didn't blow up, just said softly, I really do love you. I froze, for only a few seconds. She wore a comfortable but not quite luxurious dress. That exquisitely carved face my classmate once teased as a campus beauty from a modest background. The most valuable thing about her seems to be this heart, one that's not quite like anyone else's. I didn't ask her why. I didn't offer anything equivalent in return. I simply declared quietly, domineeringly, then you can only keep letting me do whatever I want to you. Chapter 13. The next day, I video called my parents. They looked great, grinning as they said, once we're back, you'll officially take over Wang Corp. We're planning a trip around the world. Okay. I nodded. My mom suddenly asked, how's Willow? I kept a straight face. She's fine. Fine. My mom lifted her brows, met my eyes, then couldn't help but snort with laughter. Anyway, your dad and I can't control you. Do whatever you want. I've always thought my moral sense was pretty low. It has nothing to do with my education. There must be some genetic factor, probably inherited from these two parents of mine who love to watch the drama. After hanging up, I stepped out of the room and said to Willow, who looked like her whole body was itching, making 800 little fidgety moves a second, from now on, no need to sneak around at home. Willow's face was one big question mark. You just told them straight up? She asked, incredulous. Yep, I replied. They accepted it. Suspicion flashed across her face. You're not lying to me, are you? I gazed at her quietly for a few seconds, then sighed. Actually, Mom's heartbroken, Dad's furious, and they said they're kicking me out. Willow tensed instantly, her voice shaking. If anyone's getting kicked out, it's me. What does it have to do with you? I'll talk to them, but getting kicked out is rough. You have to leave with nothing. I said. That's fine. I don't care, she answered. I was speechless. Okay then, how are you going to explain it to them? I'll say. The tips of her ears flushed red. Her tone floated, lips pressing together. I'll say I shamelessly seduced you, climbed into your bed of my own accord. This time I actually laughed out loud. Willow, seduce me? Climb into my bed? Who would believe that? My mom and dad would probably laugh until they shook. Just kidding, I said. They actually accepted it. Willow was speechless. Realizing I'd toyed with her, she glared at me, furious. I'm your sister. Half smiling, I said. You mean the sister I can do whatever I want with? I hadn't finished when she, terrified, hooked her arms around my neck and kissed me. Her body heat seemed to hit ignition point, almost steaming. Don't say it. Her cheeks were scarlet, like a boiled lobster. Willow cares about a lot of things. Gossip, our parents' feelings, other people's opinions, but I don't care. In truth, as long as you're at the top, no one dares stick their beak in. In this circle, there are far too many who step over their own siblings' corpses to rise. Being unfilial is praised as decisive and ruthless. A heartless nature is jokingly called having great tactics. And what have I done? Just slept with a sister who shares no blood with me. Just kept an astonishingly beautiful Anna as a bed buddy. My business partners might even compliment my taste. The other family heirs might come to pick my brain, asking how I came up with this move, folding a competitor straight into my pocket. Chapter 14. Anna wasn't kept in the dark about what happened between Willow and me. She's countless times smarter than Willow. When she showed me that chat log, or maybe even when Willow first approached her, she'd already guessed things would end up like this. She doesn't buy the whole illegitimate daughter rumor floating around our circle either. She told me, if she were really an illegitimate daughter with blood ties, you'd have dealt with her long ago. I was speechless. Huh, am I really that authoritarian, that cold-blooded? Seems I am. Unlike Anna, Willow would only assume Anna didn't reply because Anna had fallen in love with me. In her mind it's perfectly normal for everyone to fall for me. I have no idea how her brain works. Clearly, falling in love with money, power, and status is what's normal. So she angrily warned Anna. During a voice call, Anna asked me softly, do you need me to keep it from Willow? Let her think I don't know. I answered. As you wish. I was in the middle of prepping the handover for taking the chairman's seat. My tone casual, then a bit of mischief sprouted. Don't tell her, let me do it. Okay. Anna was briefly stunned, then asked, tonight, are you going home? I said. She didn't speak again, paused for a second or two, then hummed. Okay. Right before hanging up, she suddenly asked, President Wang. What? I said. Our relationship, will it change? Her tone was calm, rippleless. Anna is good at putting on a front. When she talks to me, there's always a hint of feigned harmlessness and obedience. The tail ends of her sentences tinged with expectation, but when she forces herself to sound composed, her voice turns like it is now, cool and distant. I thought for a few seconds and said, tomorrow I'll have Linda take you to pick an evening gown for the next gala. She asked, puzzled. What? Caught off guard, she sounded a bit dazed. The gala for my succession as chairman, I said after a pause. Pick my outfit too. She went silent again. I'm hanging up if there's nothing else, I said. Also, the Su family situation is still tricky right now, but as long as you secure the collaboration project with Wang Corp, there'll be room to maneuver. Okay, she said. No thanks. No delight, just an okay. That was a little different from usual, she said. President Wang, as long as you're still willing to have me, she made a promise, I will always belong to you. Her tone was more devout than ever before. Chapter 15. I like power. I don't need a dazzling crown on my head, nor brocade robes. I only need to stand at the highest point, and with a slight smile gain submission and reverence. These past years, Wang Corp has been just like me, like a greedy, insatiable beast, devouring the entire market step by step. So when the people below applauded me and changed to calling me Chairman Wang, I felt neither joy nor excitement. I only felt it was natural. It was mine to begin with. I looked at Anna beside me, shining like a pearl, and thought with satisfaction, mine. I looked at Willow over at the buffet, choosing what to eat, and cheerfully thought, mine. I looked at the vast venue, looked at that chairman's office with the new name on the door, and let my lips curl slightly, mine. For this gala, I hadn't prepared a long speech, just said a couple of casual lines, then walked toward a certain area. There sat the future partners I had selected for Wong Corp. The moonlight was lovely tonight, perfect for talking business. Chapter 16. Long live His Majesty forever. Group chat. Maria, report. The Empress and His Majesty rode back together. Alicia, the Empress reaps the benefit of being closest to the water. The Empress Dowager and the retired Emperor both prop her up. Maria, poor noble consort. Alicia, what's pitiful about the noble consort? His Majesty just gave her a collaboration project. I heard she directly seized half of her own family's territory because of it. Laura, TCH. It's just because she's pretty. If she can, why can't I? Could His Majesty hold a beauty selection? The harem is empty these days, just an empress and a noble consort. This concubine is really not feeling at ease. Taking 10,000 steps back, could His Majesty just happen to pass by my office and then bestow his favor on me? I can do it on the sly, being a mere palace maid is fine. Lisa, His Majesty is wise and valiant, devoted to state affairs, brimming with heroic vigor. Look at yourself, do you deserve it? Laura, sigh. In this lifetime, entering the harem is hopeless. Lisa, if you could grow to look like the Empress and the noble consort, maybe. Laura, the Empress is indeed beautiful, but she really. Chief Steward David, impudent. Who dares gossip about the mistress of the 6 palaces? Drag them out and slap their mouths. Laura added, the Empress is indeed beautiful, aside from being beautiful, she's really beautiful. I saw the noble consort yesterday. She truly is a beauty capable of toppling a nation. Lisa, yesterday, didn't His Majesty skip flipping any name plaques to choose a consort last night? Alicia said aggrievedly, His Majesty hasn't flipped a plaque in ages. He's been busy expanding business. Our team has been working overtime for days equals. Lisa, then don't. It's not mandatory. Alicia, hee. No. I want to struggle alongside His Majesty and help him become an emperor renowned through the ages. Everyone was speechless. Lisa, you just like His Majesty's big bonus. Huh? Alicia, who doesn't love a 6-figure bonus? Chief Steward David, 6 figures. This old minister is late. Your Majesty, I'll work for you all my life.